Poker Tour fans. It's only been a few hours, but we are in a completely new season. This is the kickoff tournament for Season XI of the Dakota Poker Tour. We are down to our final table, and we'll kind of go around and introduce you to the players real quick, and then we'll get to the action. In Seat 1, we have Tommy Hill with $183,000. Seat 2, Josh Dalstrom, $208,000. Seat 3, Chase Lardy, $81,000 in chips. Sean Benzer in Seat 4, $90,000 in chips. Ashley Halfdahl, $91,000 in chips. Seat 5. Seat 6, Alpha Adkins, $35K, our short stack, almost short stack at the table. In Seat 7, Steve Madsen, the short stack at the table with $32,000. In Seat 8, Heidi Rogenkamp, $130K in chips. And rounding off our table, Rod Anderson with $134K in chips. Let's jump right into the action.
Attention player.
We're starting off our blind levels with 2,000 small blind, 4,000 big blind, and a big blind ante of 4,000. I believe most of these players are local from here in Fargo. Familiar face from yesterday, Ashley Halfdahl. 2 days in a row, final tabling. So incredible job there. And we're going to start off with a call of the big blind from Sean of 4,000. Heidi's going to raise it up to 11K. Rod will call. Tommy will call. 7K to call for Sean. He will call as well. And we'll see a flop come 6 deuce 10 rainbow. Sean first to act will check Heidi. It's going to look to be a little aggressive here. Looks like she is going to raise it up to about 16,000, 17,000. Everyone getting out of the way, and Heidi's going to take down our first pot here of the evening. Just taking a quick technical break just to balance all the cameras, lighting, and we'll get started here in just another second. Here we see Heidi with pocket 10. She's going to raise it up to 12,000 over to Sean Benzer, ace 10. Most likely going to call here. He will indeed call. And we're going to the flop. Flop comes Jack, Queen 3. No help to anyone, but Heidi definitely a little scared, being that there was 2 overs on there. Sean's going to push all in for 59K. Heidi will fold. While we have Heidi on the table, we want to thank her and her crew, at least her business. Randy's Diner, one of our flagship sponsors. Thank you to Heidi and her crew at Randy's for sponsoring the Dakota Poker Tour. Also, Randy's does have 2 locations now in Fargo. Make sure to check out Randy's Diner for some of the best brunch and diner food around. We will be paying out top 5 here today. As we see Steve Madsen going all in with Big Slick suited. Chase asking for a chip count. Fold, everyone folds around. Looks like Steve will pick up the blinds and antes. So first place today will be paying out $2,765. We'll have to see 4 eliminations before we get to our payouts. Steve's going to fold. Heidi looking down at 2 cards. It's going to raise to 9,000. And we're going to fold around to Chase. Over to Sean. Sean, one of our middle stacks on the table. He is going to call. And Ashley looking down at pocket 8s. We might be able to see a shove here. Nope. Just a call, 7,000. Alpha gets out of the way. 3 players into the flop. We got deuce, ace, jack. Heidi in the lead. Sean catching middle pair as well. Just with the worst kicker, so Ashley will check. Heidi bets 11,000. Action is on Sean. He's going to fold. Ashley will also fold, and Heidi will rake in some more chips. At this point, just like I thought, Heidi jumping out to the early lead at 235,000 in chips. We'll be most likely seeing Alpha going all in very shortly, knowing he's got 15,000. He does have, it looks like he's in the small blind now, so we will have another orbit around the table just to buy some time to find that somewhat premium hand, but you know, beggars can't be choosers all the time when you're the short stack at the table, and sometimes you just got to buck up and go all in. Here we have Heidi calling 4K, Chase going all in for 55,000. Probably won't be good enough cards for Heidi to call this. Especially this early into the final table and being the chip leader. There's no pressing need for Heidi to be super aggressive or try to take some gambles that are just completely unnecessary. There's enough short stacks at the table that I'm sure she'd rather, or anyone would rather, get in a hand with or calling all in. No doubt everyone's pretty much expecting Alpha to be going all in very shortly, and being that he has such a short chip stack, it's going to be pretty easy for anyone else to call. Here's Josh raising it up to 11,000. Chase will fold, Sean folds, Ashley folds, Alpha, Steve folds, Heidi folds, and Josh is just going to take down some blinds and annies.
Exciting.
Have we seen a flop? Yeah, have we seen a flop in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Action-packed game, final game of poker, right?
Well, like literally everyone except for 3 players is short. And even those 3 players. Table analysis.
We appreciate the effort.
Looks like Tommy will call the 4,000. Fold around. Yeah, no better time for Alpha to go all in. I mean, he's all in for, looks to be 15,000.
Unless you flop a set.
Alpha shows.
Attention players. This level will end in 1 minute.
Start our action off here with Josh Dalstrom. No stranger to the Dakota Poker Tour. Was a winner at the Gastropub event a couple years ago. So, but all that is reset. There are no champions for Season XI, but we will crown our first champion here tonight. Rod Anderson gonna raise it up to 12,000. 22,000. Josh, 11K to call, will indeed do that. Flop comes 3-3 queen. Rod going all in for about 65,000. Josh is going to fold, probably wisely, knowing he's got a very low pair. Usually if you're going to enter a hand with about probably pocket 2s through pocket 9s, you're generally looking to hit trips once that flops come out. Action will start off on Chase. Looks like he is going to shove all in for 83,000. He is one of the shorter stacks. Sean Benzer looking down at slightly worse than him. He is going to go all in, which Chase will have him covered. We're going to fold around to expectedly to see Chase and Sean go at it. Unless Tommy has something pretty incredible. Nope, they all get out of the way, and we got heads up. Chase Lardy versus Sean Benzer, who will be our first person eliminated on our feature table. Ace Queen versus Ace King. Obviously, Ace Queen being dominated right now. There's a jack. Oh, we could be looking at a chop pot. Should the board pair? Nope. And that's probably going to do it. Chase's king saving from doing a chop here. So Sean will be eliminated in 9th place. Again, we are paying out 5 spots. We are going to count the chips out. Just you can never trust the graphics all the time, and it's better for the dealers to confirm. Oh my. Rod, it looks like he's going to be left with about 6,000 in chips. Oof.
I'm a small boy.
So Sean will hang on, but it is going to take a miracle for Sean to come back in this tournament. I'm not sure. I think, yeah. So Sean is 1 seat away, I believe, from the big blind. So he will have to make the decision whether he goes all in now on this hand, no matter what, or if he goes kind of all in next hand, because he will be have to contribute his 6,000 first to the big blind ante. So yeah, that season ace, he's probably pretty happy with that. So Ashley will fold alpha, also fairly short stack, but was our next lowest, but he's got another couple hands before he's got to make that decision. Tommy will call the 6K, same with Josh at a discount. It's really nearly just a formality at this point, but on the flop comes 6-3 ace. So Sean jumping out into the lead. He might quadruple up or triple up, actually. In fact, he very well might. Yeah, so ace 5 versus 10-7. No diamonds. Okay. And that does secure it for Sean. Sean stays alive and actually gets back quite a bit. I believe he triples up on that hand.
Unless you have something. You know, no, I mean, unless you have something. Well, I know. Yeah. No, it's all good. It happens. Well, it's the smallest you could make. I thought I had 610. Well, your Chase got an ace. I'm calling. I don't know what about you. Right. Let me see. How much can you make it? You made it to minimal?
Talking with Ashley earlier today, and said about 2 hours had passed since she had actually played a hand. So quite miraculously, she is here on the final table, just noting that not really playing a hand for 2 hours. All those blinds, just paying for the blinds. I mean, I'm sure she won the blinds and antes here and there, but nothing significant. So I mean, you talk about a real grind fest, and kind of speaks towards the mental toughness and that you need to have as a poker player, that you might literally not have a hand for 2 or more hours, but to stay engaged and to just kind of be able to weather that storm. But here we see Sean and Josh both all in. Obviously, Sean will be the one at risk. We got Josh's ace-king versus Sean's 10-9. He flops a 10, looking does not want to see an ace. Or Sean doubles up just like that.
Can I get a drink?
Sean immediately calling for a drink. He should even buy a lottery ticket before his luck runs out, but he ended up getting 2-pair with his 10-9, cracking Josh's ace-king.
I went in Lucky 13 for
Seems to have been a theme throughout this weekend that as long as you have chips in front of you, you can still survive and you can still win. Sean, case in point. Now he's tripled up and then doubled up, and now all of a sudden he's got more chips than he started with.
I thought you might better run your luck. If he's willing to go along with it.
Alpha finally seeing a high card. He's going to go all in. Heidi's going to try to isolate with her queen jack by raising to 16K. Not giving the pleasure of potentially kicking Alpha out to anyone else. However, Ashley will call. It's got just enough to be a little deadly. We're going to see a flop of 8-5 jack. Alpha being all in. This hand is pretty much between Heidi and Ashley, so Heidi will bet 22,000. And we're going to flip them up. We're going to see that Heidi is ahead with her jacks. Alpha
Go on, Josh. Yeah. Say what?
Goodness, I thought Alpha was all in on that hand. He must not have been all in, I think is what happened. I could have sworn it was Alpha and Heidi, and no, it was just Heidi and Ashley who were going at it. Unless...
Back from one big blind. And 6,000. Yeah, just about in the ante. Now you tell us. One hand away from the ante, which you would only got your chips back.
Could have sworn we were paying attention. We're looking right at the screen, and before we knew it, like no one... I thought Alpha was all in, but now he's still in. He was being dominated by Heidi's hand. It must have been a misclick, and then now all of a sudden... Looks like Madsen has shoved all in. He is going to be severely crippled. So, we're not sure what happened, but Sean somehow doubled up off of Steve. I don't know if we just hit like a weird time warp or something, but feels like that moved way too quick. Goose and I were both paying attention, and then all of a sudden there's all this stuff happened. But here we go, Ashley going all in, that's for sure. Steve is calling, so we're gonna looks like a be Steve versus Ashley. King 3 versus Ace Deuce. Looks like Steve's kings will hold on. Ashley still alive. Alpha, you got 1,000 chips under the rail too, just so you know.
Oh, thank you. You got, I don't know what I'm
Not a chip.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know what. Lucky charm.
All right. New season, I guess we're rusty, even though we've just been doing this for 2 days straight. I think we're back on track now. Just with the graphics and the chip counts. So Rod will fold over to Tommy. Tommy folds over to Josh. Josh folds. Chase folds. Sean, just moments ago, had diddly squat with chips and now is jumped into the middle of the pack. Heidi is going to win by not doing a dang thing. So donation from the small blind. Again, blinds are at 3,000, 6,000 with a big blind ante of 6,000.
Too late, already on the way. He's here. I know, I'm like, where are you going? He goes home. He goes home to fold laundry. Well, is it your laundry? No. Oh, well. Going home to fold it. That's what they say.
Action will start off with Tommy. I think is going to promptly fold. Josh will fold. Chase folds over to Sean. Sean calls for 6,000. We fold around to Heidi. He's in the small blind. She had one too many chips out there, but she throws them all back because she wants to call. Option on to Rod, and he'll check his option. Flop comes 6-3-6. Heidi will check. Rod is going to check as well. Sean will check, and we'll see a turn for free on everyone. Heidi checking. Rod just going to fish a chip out there. If you want to see another card, you're going to have to pay 6,000. And everyone will fold. All right, so we'll go around to Rod in the small blind. It looks like he's just going to call. Tommy in the big blind. He's going to check his option. We got 3 players into the flop. So Rod will go ahead and bet, and everyone's going to fold.
I think so. We're not supposed to grab that far.
Yes, you should watch it. So I should not go. Hunting people? It's not
Something? Is that what you said?
You could make no hunt people.
It appears as if Alpha is all in, but he's not.
All you can eat, motherfucker.
He shouldn't be,
Beep, beep.
especially in the high. Well, maybe he is. Never mind.
Oh, here he comes. Holy, holy.
So it does look like we have at least Ashley's all in for 23,000.
I used to drink. Nobody wants to hear those.
We'll call the action here. So it's actually Steve all in with his pocket nines versus Ashley's queen 10. Ashley is at risk of her tournament life here. Flop comes 8, 4, 6. Looking for a queen or a 10. Queen or 10 or a heart. And that's going to do it for Ashley's tournament life. 2 incredible runs here at the Dakota Poker Tour. 2 final tables in a row. But she will be donating some chips to Steve. We are going to pause the clock. We're going to pause the clock real quick just to get update our chip counts, just because they're a little off.
Seat 1, 140. Seat 3, 160.
I don't have that.
Got me now.
And I played a couple other hands.
Hey, that's right.
I know. I'm just giving you.
Alright, seat 1, what was it? 136? Seat 1 is 136. Seat 2 is 140.
160.
Seat 3 is 160. Seat 4 is 165. Seat 6 is 18,000. Which one? Seat 1? 4. 4 is 165. 5 is empty. 6 has 18,000. 7
That answer.
Mine better be red. That's been less fun. Buttons in one.
I would suggest going there and go for their own, open during COVID.
Oh, it's on Main Avenue, kind of by.
Yep, right behind this, yeah, okay, that street mall.
Yes.
So we do have updated chip counts now. We're gonna fold around. Tommy, Josh folds. Looks like Chase is just gonna. All right, now we got everything in order here. And our flop comes 3-8-3. Chase is going to check. Option to Steve. He's going to bet 18,000. Chase has a little bit to think about here. Yeah, if I was Chase, knowing that's a pretty premium hand, it's a potential to kind of challenge Steve's bet, knowing what the board was. And two very low cards. Action starts on Alpha first, who would have to pretty much go all in to call. Steve, Heidi will fold, Rod folds, over to Tommy, Tommy folds, Josh folds, Chase will raise it up to 18,000, Sean will call. And we are 2 to the flop. Flop comes 6-7-9. Sean in the lead with that ace queen. Chase bets 13,000 and Sean will fold.
Seven dudes, 8-3, and
Alpha not all in, but is getting down there. Steve will fold, Heidi folds. Fold around, over to Sean, who surely will not be going anywhere. He's going to push enough chips in to put Alpha all in. And Alpha going to be a little disgusted running into pocket queens here with just a measly 10-4. But any two cards can win. Flop comes 2-ace jack. Turns a club, needs a club to win, and no club. Alpha is eliminated. That brings us one step closer to cashing, or to being in the cash, in the money here, rather. I believe we are 2 players away. Top 5 places do pay out.
I had to put 2/3 of his chips. He was forced to put 2/3 of his chips out. And you had a great hand. You were like, oh my. Cheap chips. Low risk. Wait.
Certainly a good tournament for Alpha. Thanks for coming out here and participating in the kickoff to Season XI. Sean raising to 16,000. Action over to Steve.
Nope, you're good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
He is going to fold. Heidi. No, Steve folds, and that means Sean wins. So we're going to have a dead button, and Steve's in the small blind, Heidi in the big blind.
for a little bit, 10 minutes, I'm like,
I've seen it, but I've never seen it.
I didn't either. I tried to focus.
I would think.
And Rod will be first to act here, looking down at 5-3 suited. That's a sure fold. Tommy, Josh folds. Tommy hasn't played in hand in a while. Sure he's going to be chomping at the bit very soon. Hoping to get some cards. Sean, with 2 cards that are playable, he'll call the 6,000. Steve calls in the small blind, and Heidi will check her option. Steve has the option. He'll check. Heidi checks. Sean checks. We're going to see a turn for free. It is a queen of diamonds. Basically, Sean has flopped a gut shot. Steve has flopped 2 pair. And Steve will win that pot. And there's our chip count. Sean Benzer from last to first. Holy cow. It's like Rod Anderson in seat 9 is in last place with 73,000. Otherwise, it's kind of a tight grouping. No one in an absolute commanding lead. But that should all change as time passes. Tommy folds. Josh is going to call or raise to 16.
Attention players. This level will end in 1 minute. After that, a 10-minute break.
We are going to fold around. Rod's going to call for 10K more. And we will be 2 to the flop. Queen 2 versus Ace 2. Flop comes King 8-9. Josh ahead in the hand. But Rod has many, many outs. Turn comes a 4. River is a queen, and that is one of the outs Rod needed in order to win. But we don't know that yet. Anything can happen. Rod's going to bet 16. And Josh will fold. Rod hoping maybe throw some money out there, some chips out there. Just trying to...
It's time for a 10-minute break.
Got our lights
Please
flickering inside.
play at the end of the current hand.
Kind of lost my train of thought there. That's okay. Steve waking up to a monster pocket aces. He's going to raise to 17. Rod Anderson, King Jack. Not good enough. You would think that's a somewhat strong hand, but maybe smelt a bunch of crap emanating from Steve's hand and didn't want anything of it. But it looks like we are going to take a break. We will continue here our final table action for Dakota Poker Tour's kickoff tournament of Season XI. We'll take a 10-minute break. We'll be back after that.
out in less than 12.
All right, looks like we are coming back from break. Everyone has had their smokes refilled on drinks. Use the ladies' or men's room, and we are back to see if we can see a conclusion to our first tournament of Season XI of the Dakota Poker Tour. I'm very excited to kick off this 11th season here. This will be a first full season with the full production crew. Obviously myself and Goose, and got Blake and Brooke out there. And, obviously Dana running the tournaments. So, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get started. I believe our button is on seat 9. So Tommy will be in the small blind, Dalstrom big blind with the big blind ante. Blinds should have gone up, I believe, to 816. Looks like our blinds are still 488. And we'll start off. Steve folds, Heidi folds over to Rod. Rod's going to fold, action on Tommy. Tommy will call in the small blind. Josh will check his option, and we're going to go ahead and see a flop. Flop comes 5 king 7. Nothing really to write home about on that flop, and Josh is the first aggressor despite being behind in the hand to Tommy, and Tommy will fold as he had absolutely nothing. Scared of Josh maybe having that king. Steve waking up to pocket jiggities. Heidi, pocket threes. Just gonna probably call the raise to 21,000 from Steve. Rod will fold, get out of the way. Over to Tommy. He's gonna fold. Action on Josh with ace 6 suited. He also will call, knowing it was a little bit of a discount being in the small blind. Chase will also call. So 4 players into the flop. Quite an array of hands here, but flop comes 9, 10, 9, rainbow. Josh and Chase both check. Steve will go ahead and bet 27,000 to try to steal the pot. He's obviously loving to see the 3 cards out there, knowing he has what is assumed to be the top pair. Heidi accidentally exposing her one of her threes. She'll fold. Action over to Chase Lardy. He also not catching any part of that flop, will also fold, and Steve shows his jiggities and throws them in the muck, pulls chips his way, and we might have a new chip leader.
I told you, that was the hand for you. That was the hand. You know
go ahead and show those chip stacks here. And yep, Steve is our new chip leader. At least what we know here. So Steve in the top, followed by Sean, who has just over half of what Steve has. Tommy Hill, 64,000.
Last time I had ace jack deal.
About 8 big blinds left, so we'll be seeing maybe Tommy starting to make a move. He hasn't caught a hand in a while, so it's just kind of being blinds and ante down to what he has left. Oh my God, and here's Steve again. Same hand, different suits though. Playing the same story, raising to 21,000. Heidi folds, Rod folds. Tommy will fold. Josh folds. Chase folds. It's all up to Sean. He'll fold as well. And Steve again, gonna show his jacks. 2 jiggities in a row.
Did you keep him? Did you keep him?
So Steve on a little bit of a heater right now, picking up some pocket pairs and kind of showing no signs of weakness. We'll see if we can find a chink in that armor and someone can exploit it. Maybe jump out to a lead, double up off Steve. Heidi, King 8 folding. Action is on Rod. Most likely fold this. Yep, over to Tommy. He folds. Josh folds. Off to Chase. Chase looks like he's going to be going all in. It's about 121,000. It is up to Sean. Actually, it's up to Steve, and surely Chase will just win the blinds and antes here. So Chase may be getting a little antsy, feeling like would like a big hand here to double up off someone or at least knock someone out.
Literally nothing that can beat 2-3. They were not suited. I mean, not saying after the flop it couldn't be suited.
And action will be first on Rod. He's going to fold his ace-9 offsuit. Tommy going to fold that hand. Josh, one of our second to the last. He's not going to go all in. Instead, he's just going to raise, I believe, to 16,000, 20,000. Folds around to Steve, to Heidi. And Josh is just going to win blinds and antes, which helps.
There's always going to be some smart ass on it.
I mean, that's 20K into your stack if you can pick up the blinds and antes. So that's certainly a big help when, you know, if you're like Josh right now who had 80K in his stack, that's a quarter of his stack won in the blinds and antes alone. Tommy with Queen 2 folds Josh. Jack 9 suited. He's going to raise it up to 20,000. Fold, 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 fold. So it seems like we're hitting that inevitable lull in poker where one person has a good hand and the rest have pretty much garbage. So we're just going to have to wait it out until get 2 or more players with a halfway decent hand to battle it out, see a flop. again, we are playing or paying out top 5. 5th place getting $710, and 1st place gets $2,765. So Heidi on the button, staring down at ace 10. Sounds like she's going to raise it up to 22,000. Rod Anderson, 18,000 to call in the small blind. He will call. Tommy has an option to call, defend his big blind. He will not. So Heidi is absolutely dominated pre-flop. Flop comes 5-5-6. Heidi would need a 6 or a 10 to jump into the lead on this hand, but she is going to be the first aggressor on a dry board, and she will be the winner of this hand. So here we find ourselves in a little bit of a hand. But not a whole lot of action. Chase flops an open ender with his pocket eights and first aggressor, and he's going to scare everyone else away. Sean will be first to act here under the gun. Looking down at Jack 8 offsuit. Steve, oh my God, just catching hands left and right. Wakes up to pocket queens. Raises to 21K again. If you're sensing a pattern, Steve has high pocket pair. Steve bets 21K. Rod going all in with pocket 7 is going to be sorely disappointed when he flips up his hand to Steve. Chase decision here. Yeah, just best to get out of the way. It's better to lose some blinds and antes rather than more of your chip stack. So here we have thought we had an all in. There we are. Rod now going all in. There we go. Steve is surely going to call. So we'll have Steve's queens versus Rod's sevens. Looks like Rod will be looking for a 4 or 7. And does not get it. That will mean Rod is eliminated in 6th place. Actually eliminated in 7th place. So the next person to go out will be Bubble Boy or girl. So there is no World Series of Poker package on the line, but whoever wins today will be able to, a year from now, play in the Tournament of Champions that the Dakota Poker Tour puts on every year, as we just did this morning, if you tuned in then. If you are tuning in on Facebook or YouTube, thank you very much. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the kickoff of the Dakota Poker Tour's Season XI. Heidi looking down at Ace Jack. Offsuit, certainly going to play something here. Heidi's going to raise it up to 18. 18,000 over to Tommy. Tommy will.
Everyone take 50 out of your pocket, fans, so they're only getting 250 then. I'm okay with that.
Golden gets 250? I'm fine with that. But it's all fucking.
Players are discussing paying the bubble boy or girl.
We haven't danced in so long. You know you miss me.
Well, just worry about it when that time comes.
So we are kind of,
You guys can give me the money.
yeah, actually pulling out. So they agreed they'd all pay $50 to the bubble person so they win something. But if you're pulling your money out, you kind of assuming that you won't be the one to go out. But okay, so if everyone pays 50, you kind of get your money back if you end up being the bubble boy or girl.
Well, I would get two because Kramer probably wants some.
So kind of a unwritten, kind of cool rule that players will do in a tournament is paying the bubble person, knowing that everyone else will net more than the agreed upon price. So Heidi will fold. Tommy looking down at 9-4 offsuit. He will fold. Josh, ace 4 offsuit. He's going to raise here to 21,000. Steve will end up calling for 13,000 more. We're going to go to a flop. And our flop comes 10-3-6. Josh not quite ahead here. Needs basically just an ace at this point in order to beat Steve's eights. We'll see. Yep, Steve's going to be aggressive here. He is the chip leader. He's going to try to chunk a bit off of Josh. He's going to re-raise to 60,000. Wow, so Steve getting Josh to fold and pulling chips his way.
This is going to be no spit, no nothing. Here it comes.
I know. Let's just see it flop, shall we? That sounds like fun.
We'll have 3 players to the flop. Flop comes ace, queen, 5. Steve checks, Heidi checks, Tommy. Middle pair, decent kicker. It's going to be the aggressor here. Looks like 21,000. Nope, 17,000. Steve and Heidi will both fold, and Tommy will pick up some much-needed chips as the Definite short stack at the table. That brings him up over 100,000 now.
There's a lot of tournament left. And I can donk out chips to his best, especially the finger deal.
Take this opportunity to thank our sponsors. We got, in no particular order, Heavenly Hog, KFGO, Posh Hair Salon, amongst other things, and Randy's Diner. Obviously, Heidi, the person behind Randy's Diner. Definitely want to thank Heidi, and it's great to see her here final tabling. All the sponsorships allow us to buy and new tables and extra equipment that we might need to spruce up our production value. Heidi with Ace Queen will bet. Tommy will fold as he has nothing even worth calling with.
It was just an
All right, here we are. Six-handed. No one wants to be the bubble person, as everyone's chipping in $50. Be $250 to the bubble person, but if I were them, I'd be eyeing down that much bigger prize of even fifth place being $710, but the ultimate one is the first place prize of $2,765. Folding around to Tommy. Tommy finally getting two cards that he can at least mess with, or something that's worth writing home about. Over to Josh with ace-4. Yeah, totally fine. Unfortunately, that Tommy's premium hand kind of goes to waste, but a win's a win yet again. All right, Heidi raising it up to 18,000. We're going to fold around to Chase, who looks like he is going to go all in. Question is, does Heidi think her hand is good enough? No, she doesn't. Exposes the ace. And Chase will pull in his original stack on top of whatever else was in the pot.
kick.
Heidi, Tommy fold, Josh folds, Chase folds, Sean 77,000 in his stack will go all in. It's up to Steve to either call, see if he can knock another person out, add to his ever-growing chip stack. Yep, 79,000. Steve asking for chip count. Yeah, 6-5 just isn't going to do it, even though it's a 50-50 split, and, chance at winning. Obviously, Steve doesn't know that, but he knows, at best, probably 50-50, and it's just not worth, 50% chance to double someone up when you're the chips leader. And Sean has a small enough chip stack to where he's not really a threat, as long as he definitely, as a shorter stack, you want to double up off of, the chip leader, bring that person down a bit. But as the chip leader, you definitely don't want to be doubling up the smallest chip stacks out there. It just makes your time that much tougher to go ahead and make a run at winning the tournament. Here, Tommy will go ahead and call the AK. Josh going all in, about 105K. Chase folds. Sean folds. They're going to fold around to Tommy. As that ace forward, he's also going to fold. Seen a lot of all-ins with mid to low pocket pairs, and here you see average distribution of chips. It's not that bad. Fairly close game. Obviously, Steve with a third of the chips, but I'd say your average chip stack is about 150K. So I guess technically we do have 3 fairly short stacks, but at the drop of a hat, we could see someone at the bottom jump to the top. All it takes is one good hand. So Sean gonna raise it up. I want to thank everyone for hopping in on the live stream, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. If you are watching us on Facebook, you can go ahead and please share the video. Let your friends know that you're watching the Dakota Poker Tour. This is our first tournament of Season 11 on the DPT. Just concluding Season X officially yesterday. However, this morning we did have our Tournament of Champions, where all the previous champions of all the tournaments we have put on in the last one. Season X was special. Obviously, it took 2 years to finish. But all the champions of those tournaments were invited to come play in one final tournament of free roll, of which we gave away $1,500 seat. And earlier today, Ben Armbrust of Fargo won the $1,500 World Series of Poker package. Ben told me he actually forgot that he had won a tournament or didn't know that he qualified for the TOC, as it was so long ago. It was back in 2019 that he won, early 2019. And then showed up to the free roll. Thought maybe I'll play some free poker. And then someone told him, he was asking around and said, yeah, your name is on the TOC tournament list. So he didn't didn't even know he qualified. Ends up showing up today, wins it all. $1,500 World Series of Poker package. So congratulations to Ben Armbrust. You're going to Vegas, baby. That'll be his first appearance in the World Series of Poker.
Lines up next hand, 6 and 12.
Sounds like our blinds will be going up after this hand. Steve pulling in yet more chips. It's been a hell of a day and a hell of a weekend for poker. Starting here on Friday with the player appreciation free roll. So anyone who participated in the Dakota Poker Tour in Season X was invited to play a free roll, and on the line there was a $1,500, another one, World Series of Poker package. And here we see Josh going all in with King 10 offsuit, and likely no one will call, so he'll pull his chips back, pull what was in the pot, and continue on with our next hand. Last night we did have a $150 buy-in tournament. Winner of that tournament was James Wilson out of Wappiton. So congratulations to James. He won. I think he took home $5,010 or so, or $20. Was immediately invited back the following morning, this morning, to play in the Tournament of Champions, as he qualified for that, obviously. Oh, man, Tommy Hill taking down some chips here. It looks like Heidi's been chunked a little bit. Can't remember where all of her chips went to. They're obviously not in front of her anymore, but Tommy looks to have a growing chip stack. Good sign there. Heidi's certainly a fan favorite amongst the poker community in the Fargo-Moorhead and greater North Dakota area. So I'm sure we have a lot of fans either paying attention on Facebook or YouTube cheering Heidi on. Looks like Sean's going to be going all in for about $97,000. It's up to Steve. Heidi folds. Tommy looking down at Queen 10. This would leave him with very little chips left should he call. He's going to go ahead and fold. Sean will again take all of his chips back towards his rail and collect the ones in the middle. Chase calling with ace-10. Sean going all in with his queen-jack. Action is on Tommy now, who has exactly 100K left. Yeah, that's probably just the best decision there, knowing does have 2 players in front of him to act, and at this point you certainly wouldn't want to get into a 3-way all-in. Typically you'd want to eliminate 1 player at a time, but Chase will go ahead and fold his ace-10. Sean maybe a breath, a sigh of relief. Didn't get called with that ace in there.
You're right, that's
Steve raises to 24,000. Looks like a lot of players are just getting out of the way as they don't have any good hands. And Chase going all in. Chase all in for about 191,000. This would take down at least 2/3. About 2/3 of Steve's chip stack. Should he call and should he lose? And we'll see Steve sit in the think tank, analyze, figure out what could possibly be going on, but I just don't see him calling this. Yeah, Queen 10's just not strong enough to go up against an all-in. It's just not. And that wouldn't be Chase defending his big blind. You know, you would probably just see a little bit bigger of a raise there to defend the big blind. That played out kind of just how we expected. Chase running into a couple of Cowboys. He is in the middle of the road now. I mean, he's only 120, 130 back of the lead. So, yeah, Chase is in second place. So really looking at Heidi and Tommy as not ideally, but you would expect as potentially the next 2 people out. But as we know, this is no limit Texas Hold'em, and anything is possible. I mean, just seems like forever ago, but Sean Benzer had like 16,000 left, ended up tripling up and then doubling up, and now before you know it, he's at over 100K. So anything can happen. It's the beauty and blessing and the curse of all no limit Texas Hold'em. But see Steve here raising to 26,000. Everyone folding around. Sean not at the table. Luckily, he didn't have a very good hand, so but he is auto-mucked. So it seems like we're going to, if anyone wants a chance at winning this, they're going to have an answer for Steve here. He's kind of seemingly running away with the tournament. But even last night, we saw, even this morning, it just doesn't matter. All it takes is one hand, one river card, no matter how sickening it is. And in that seesaw, it's going to balance, go the other way. Tommy gonna raise it up to 35,000. Oh, Josh waking up to a couple of rockets. Josh sizing it up, decides he's gonna go all in. Chase folds, Sean folds, Steve folds, easy fold. So is Tommy asking for a chip count here.
53,000 is all. Rocket, rocket. We'll see you later. Right?
Sounds like Steve or Tommy folds. We're gonna head over to Josh now. 12K to call. Looks like he's gonna raise it up to at least 30,000, but it's probably, yep, 30,000. Gonna fold around to Steve. Steve will fold. Heidi with her ace-6. This could be. Yep, she's just gonna call. She'll have probably about maybe about 70,000 left in chips. Flop comes Jack 10 King. And man, that just hurts quite a bit. Josh being the aggressor, Heidi just has to fold. Nothing you can do. Hands are tied behind your back.
And then just randomly slapping in the air. Like he's seeing shit in the air.
Steve, King 8 suited. He's gonna raise it up to 26,000. Definitely has the chip stack to make sure that if someone wants to play a hand, they are going to be fairly committed, which is it's not a bad strat. It's actually a great strategy as the chip leader, so long as those chips keep coming your way. But you just got to watch out for that one time one player wakes up to pocket aces or slightly better hand than yours, and all of a sudden you are looking at getting chunked yourself or even doubling up that other player, and before you know it, you're not really the chip leader anymore. Oh my God, Heidi waking up to pocket rockets, but she can't get anyone to call. Wouldn't doubt if she exposed them. Nope. Nope, that's okay. It's a bummer, but it's also not, because she needed chips in badly. Being that she was not in any of the blinds. Much needed. It'll help finance the next go around the table. But obviously, being the severe short stack at the table, there's only one play when you wake up with rockets, and that is to go all in. Steve, as you can see, tends to be very aggressive pre-flop. Don't really see him just calling the blinds. If he's playing a hand, he's going to be aggressive. Gonna bet. He's gonna make sure that you are paying to play. Heidi suited connectors here. Steve winning a hand without doing a gosh darn thing.
Got an ace? A good one?
Might as well get one, but
Yeah.
good enough for me to call any of your guys all in. I'm trying to only run it in, but I mean, Heidi's yelling at me for that, calling everybody all in.
Kicking you on.
Well, this is not mine. Yeah, get in there.
Play with those chips. I don't care whether you lose them or not.
So here, actually, Josh just edging Steve out in the aggression frequency. Tommy just has not played many hands, so naturally not going to be an aggressive player, maybe just in this tournament or as of late. But if you're not getting cards, how can you possibly be aggressive when other players are? So Josh pulling down a little pot there. But yeah, this is fairly interesting. Kind of tells the tale of who's getting the cards to at least play and who's not. Josh, Steve, and Heidi, even though Heidi's our short stack, just in that situation where she's running into trying to be aggressive, but players are perhaps being more aggressive or catching her having just a little bit better of a hand, and she's got to get out of the way. So we're hoping to see Heidi catch a nice hand here soon. all in, get a call, win the hand, double up, and continue going. Steve going all in, which would essentially put anyone else all in. On the button, gonna take blinds and antes from Heidi and Tommy.
Nobody's getting knocked out. Just keep talking.
I super adore you. Super excited to see you go take a break. Dana's just gonna give you a card. Or just
We don't know. Good.
just something. Yeah, possibly get me into a 6-3.
I said okay. Appreciate it. That's what happened to me. And then against Murphy, was against that Murphy, like 25 left, like 20 left or whatever. Murphy had jacks. Maybe the guy went to the bathroom with aces. Flop ace, jack, something. But I mean, he's getting 200,000 plus chips.
Holding it because I have one move now and we just have to. So it's either.
Yeah.
Right.
When the tournament comes in,
Right. And he's so excited to keep holding. Everybody please back to me. He's really nice. Yeah, I moved up. I went from 6 threes to 8 threes. I'm freaking climbing, man. Double down. Settle down. If I get a face card, I'm gonna flip the table. If I get 2 face cards, what? I'm gonna even go to the bathroom. I'm just gonna hang out with you.
You see, we just had a dealer switch, so out goes Kramer, take a little break. In comes Dana Castaneda, our TD.
We're in the Rockies. Now we're live streaming, so it's be the best time to say. The most annoying sound in the world. I'm really sad that I'm
Last time too. Last time I put 4 in. You've been on the slow for how many?
yeah, you must have.
23 minutes? Oh, what's up?
Usually if you see Dana walking up to a poker table or is at least at one and you're at the same one, you're going to be shivering in fear because she is an excellent poker player. Luckily for perhaps everyone at this table, she is just dealing. As Steve raises it to 32,000, as has been the story for the last hour or so. Steve bets, everyone folds. And it's simply because no one else is really catching anything. So action will start on Heidi, fold her 7-6 offsuit. Over to Tommy, he is going to be Tommy's all in for about 20K. It's up to Josh to decide whether or not he wants to call. Not much of his chip stack, so he'll call. Chase gets out of the way. Sean gets out of the way. Steve with the decision now. Looks like he is also going to. He's going to do something. He's calling. Pretty cheap for him to call an all-in. Chance to knock another player out and then go up against the second largest chip stack. And if you're Steve, you probably have plenty of confidence to either outplay or that, hey, if you're getting cards, you better be playing hands. And here comes the flop 5-9 queen. So Steve gets out of the way after Josh bets 20,000 and Tommy's tournament life at stake. He's looking to double up off of the second most chip leader. Needs an ace and an ace only. All three of them are left in the deck. And it's a 4. Tommy's going to survive a much, much needed double up. And off of someone who has a very sizable chip stack, so stealing from the rich and giveth to the poor. Tommy raising to 35,000. Heidi in the big blind. Would love to defend her big blind, but can't always do that when you don't really have the hand to do it with. So Tommy gaining some momentum, pulling chips his way. Much needed for one of the short stacks at the table.
The cards or?
Yeah, she got her. She took it.
Steve, 12K to call. It looks like he threw out a potential raise. Yep, he'll raise to 29,000. It's just so much pressure he puts on the other players. You know, if you call, you're essentially either completely crippling yourself or it's time to go all in. Sean going all in. Steve with a couple of sevens. Steve goes all in to isolate. And we have ace-9 versus pocket sevens, essentially a coin flip. Sean loving that he has 2 overs and suited. Flop comes queen, deuce, 3. No help, still needs to match that ace or 9. King of diamonds looking for an ace or a 9 only. Can it happen on the river? No, it cannot. Steve eliminates Sean Benzer as the bubble boy. Everyone can kind of breathe a sigh of relief. They are now all in the money. Bubble boy takes home $250 as agreed upon by the players.
250 profit. Yeah. Yep. You're right. 300. Oh, minus the 50. I paid myself. That's okay. We were 16. Yeah, mine's right. 8 and 16, 12.
8-16.
So dangerous. I have just enough to be annoying. At my age. It's such the worst time to get hurt. Like, hey,
Josh in the small blind going to call the 8,000. Chase will check.
I was expecting a raise for the third one in a row.
right? As was I.
So 9-7 versus queen 5. Flop comes 9-8 jack rainbow. And we're experiencing an earthquake essentially. Just moving cameras around as people get eliminated. It's always good to refocus on players, get a better shot, but
Right, Dana.
yeah, not a whole lot going on here. These hands, all good. This is those inevitable lulls in poker that happen, and just no one's catching hands, and it's, I guess you could say, the boring part of poker is when there's no action. But you know, you could people say the same thing about baseball. They think baseball's boring, but until you understand all the inner workings, you know, to continue with the baseball reference, you know, most people just see a ball being thrown and sometimes being hit, but there's positioning in the field, knowing the batters, all sorts of things, the duel between the pitcher and the batter. All those same things apply here to poker. You know, you might see a simple fold, but another player might pick up on a tell or kind of pick up on tendencies. So that's definitely the next level poker player stuff, and certainly all these players at this table are seasoned veterans who are able to pick up on those little things. Heidi all in against Josh Dalstrom. Heidi's jack 6 versus Josh's ace 8. Both hands are suited. And our flop will come 8-9-8. Oh, Josh picking up trip 8s. Going to need runner, runner, spade. That's a 3. Heidi's pretty much drawing dead at this point. And the king is a blank, and Heidi going out in 6th place. She'll be taking home, I believe, $710. Great tournament to Heidi. Yep, $710. Great tournament to Heidi. Yeah. Very happy to have her on in the Dakota Poker Tour. She will take a jump in the standings, at least little. At the very, well, she'll be in 5th place, essentially, because however much you win is what your point value is. So Heidi will be 5th in points, Dakota Poker Tour points, after today. We still have to find out who's going to take down 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and ultimately 1st place. Grand prize $2,765. So far, Josh Dalstrom is the only one in contention, or at least to be able to mitigate the weight being tossed around by Steve. As the only formidable chip stack. You know, if Tommy would go all in, Madsen could probably double Tommy up 3 times before it really starts hurting. And just like that, we are 4-handed. Madsen waking up to pocket kings. It's going to basically put... So I think we do have an all-in. Steve raising enough to put Tommy all in. So it's going to be Steve's kings versus Tommy's ace-6. Tommy does have 2 live cards, does have an over. If he hits that ace, all of a sudden he's looking at doubling up off the chip leader.
No, you're small blinds in there. That's the 216.
So here we come see a flop. When you hit an ace and 6s, there's Jack ace 10. Now we just need to avoid a queen and a king. Need to avoid a queen or a king. So just confirming the cards with our tournament director here. Dana will check the table. We'll see a turn. There's a 9. Still need to avoid a queen or a king. Queen or a king would send Tommy home. And the 8. It is an 8. So Tommy survives. Tommy climbing the hill. Not quite over it. But he is he's certainly on his way up. This is when this tournament's all said and done, if Tommy were to eventually go ahead and go on to win this tournament, he would have been walking home uphill both ways. But here we see Tommy jumping into 3rd place ahead of Chase. Still a 5th of Steve's stack and just under half of Josh Dahlstrom's stack. Steve with over 50% of the chips on the table.
You know what I did with it? Learning.
Tommy going all in for about 108K. It's up to Josh Dalstrom. Josh asking for a chip count. Now, see if Josh calls here. He is no longer in second place. He would be severely crippled. And Josh doesn't want to be severely crippled. He wants to be able to have enough chips to contend with Steve. So he's going to fold that. And also, he didn't have the greatest of cards. So Tommy pulling in some much-needed chips. Still climbing the hill. Tommy all in with king, queen. Steve with 9-7 suited calls. So Steve with 9-7 suited calls and all in by Tommy. It's a 9-3 deuce. Steve all of a sudden in the lead. Tommy needs a king or a queen or runner clubs. Tommy would love to see it. He does see a club here that opens up. He's got 17 outs, and it's a king, and Tommy rivers him. Stays alive. Soundtrack of Tommy's life. Bee Gees, Staying Alive. Wow, I cannot believe Tommy survives the all-in there. It surely looked like, as Steve has been kind of steamrolling a little bit, Tommy is the first one to put that real kink in Steve's armor. So Tommy Hill repping the 69 Jared Allen jersey. Round him up, cowboy. Tommy Hill is now very much so alive in this game and potentially second place, if not first. Look at that. Jumps into first place with 42% of the chips. 438,000. Steve lost about 120,000 down to 355. We're probably going to be starting to target Chase to start going all in, trying to kick another player out. We'll see. Tommy appears to be on top of the hill. Let's hope that he can stay on top of the hill. Winter is around the corner. We just don't want to see any snowballs. Tommy raises to 45,000. Finally has chips to play with. Chase going all in for 70,000. Tommy calls. He can't afford it. Tommy won't love what he sees, that his ace is essentially dead. His 5 is still alive. But ace 5 versus ace 8. Chase is all in for 58,000. So Chase's tournament life is at stake here. He is slightly ahead in the hand. Flop comes 8, 7, king. Chase picking up a much needed 8. Not much Tommy can do to pull ahead, and I don't think there's anything he can do. That's pretty much drawing dead. Chase will double up off our new chip leader. Potentially not our chip leader anymore. Chase needed those chips bad. You make it this far into the tournament, and the only thing you really want to be thinking of is, I want the top prize. You don't want to settle for 4th or 3rd or even 2nd. It's the top prize we're all chasing here. And whoever wins tonight will be the leader in the Dakota Poker Tour Season 11 points race. So if catastrophe happened and the world ended, they would be the DPT season champion of Season XI and probably win a World Series of Poker seat. Just give it to them. But that won't happen. So we'll see everyone fold around over to Steve. Steve will win the blinds and antes.
You gotta have 1, 2, and 2 in a row. Oh, king 3, one hand,
So hopefully we don't fall back into that inevitable poker lull. Steve making sure to keep the action going, continuing to apply pressure. Still has a very sizable chip stack. Over to Tommy, Queen 5 offsuit. Steve raises to 38,000. Tommy 22,000 to call. This is the makings of a really, really bad situation for Tommy. Should a queen come up on the board. And clubs. So we have a 9, ace, 5. Tommy hits the 5, much needed. Steve will check. Tommy will fire away. Sensing weakness, blood in the water. Tommy bets 25,000. Steve folds. Tommy says, look who's aggressive now. Chase looking down at King, queen, offsuit. Being first act. Either be aggressive. It's pretty much all you really should do. It's going to call just the 16,000. Josh checks. Flop comes 3, 4, 8. Chase in the lead. But Josh flopping a gut shot. Can Chase, will Chase call? I mean, Chase is ahead in the hand, but he really doesn't have a live board. For him to even call that, he would need to see probably at least two, like a 10 or a jack or an ace, something that can help connect his king and queen, but all the connections were in Josh's hands, so that's what allowed Josh to be aggressive there and to shove all in, and in the knowing that they were fairly low cards. And that again allowed Josh to be the aggressor, but here again, aggression frequency, Tommy's percentage coming up a little bit, simply because he has the chips to do it now. Steve putting a muzzle on him a little bit, just doubling up Tommy, losing another pot, so momentum shift potentially. Steve reaching for chips though, wants to swing that momentum back his way. Raising to 36,000 over to Tommy Hill. What is Tommy going to do? Tommy asking Steve how many he has, how many chips. Just gonna call the 36,000. Don't mind the play. We'll have to see a flop. We'll have to see a flop, see what happens, what comes up. Flop comes 6-8 queen. Steve wants to be aggressive. Steve betting in, almost, we'll see. Steve betting into Tommy. What is Tommy gonna do here? How can he set the trap? Is it a call? Is it a raise? Tommy writing a story. What story does he want to write? Just a call. Tommy getting a 6 on the turn. Steve putting the brakes on. Tommy putting out a bet of 50,000. Steve sensing he has been beat, folds. Tommy taking down a big pot, taking a pretty sizable chunk out of Steve's stack. Tommy now feeling a little bit more in the driver's seat.
I didn't hear you.
I said, don't play a face like cracker. Congratulations.
I remember folding the 8.
Yeah, I'm on all 20 calls.
Whoa, yeah. You raised it, you called.
Yeah.
Chip leader.
So Tommy showing us he still has more hill to climb. Chase calling in the small blind, Steve checking the option. Flop comes 3-8-2, Chase quickly checks. Steve checks, we're gonna see a turn for free. We got a 9 of spades, Chase throws out 25K. Steve gets top pair. Steve will call. River's at 10. Oh my God. And that gives Chase the straight. He's going to go all in. Steve has 2 pair. Chase is going to double up off Steve, and that, yes, he's just got kind of disgusting to get rivered like that, but Chase continuing to survive.
43,000.
Wow, what a hand. Chunking Steve yet again.
Did not expect you to bet the gutter ball.
Right? I was just trying to get the out of there, but I was doing more.
So if I push on the turn, do you fold?
I won. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So Steve asking Chase if he would have pushed on the turn. Would he have folded? I mean, somewhat useful information for the future, but
I would fold. I would fold.
just going to get a quick chip count, make sure we are on, keep it as accurate as possible for you guys at home or wherever you may be watching. Dakota Poker Tour Season 11 kickoff tournament. It's been 3 days of poker. Friday we had a player appreciation free roll, gave away a $1,500 World Series of Poker package. And again on Saturday, we had our $150 deep stack buy-in. That was a James Wilson of Mapleton win. He also won a $1,500 World Series of Poker package. And on top of that, $5,010 in first place. And then this morning, we had our Tournament of Champions of all champions of Dakota Poker Tour Season 10 invited to play for our third and final $1,500 World Series of Poker package. That today was won by Ben Armbrust, who again had no clue he was even qualified. Thank God he showed up because he won. So Josh here raising to 38,000. Tommy 2,200 to call, 22,000 to call. He does make the call. Flop comes 6-5 Jack. Tommy's going to be aggressive. Announces a bet of 50,000. Josh. We'll see what Josh is going to do. Josh is going to go all in. One thing I've noticed with Josh, when he goes all in, he does like to splash his chips for... It is a reason, but also there's no reason. Sometimes he just kind of shoves it in there, and then most of the time it's folded, so he just has to recollect all of his chips. But here might be a different story. We'll see. Tommy has about 91,000 to call. Really isn't that many chips. Yeah, wisely folds. Tommy's just trying to see if Josh was ready to risk it all. Josh was ready to risk it all. Tommy was not ready to double him up. As you see there, Josh Dalstrom wearing the main event Mania FPN t-shirt. Little fun fact here, Josh Dalstrom is actually an FPN national champion. I'm not sure how long ago or how much he won. I'm sure it was a lot, but FPN has the Bar Poker League, and that's what Josh competed in, and that's what Josh ultimately went on to Vegas for, competed in, and won. So congratulations to Josh all those years ago. And here Chase going all in. Tommy's going to call. Chase is not going to love that he ran into Cowboys, but here we are. Tommy has a chance to knock Chase out. Tommy's pocket kings versus Chase's pocket eights. This would give Tommy a even more commanding chip lead. And we'll see our flop. Oh, and an 8 right away on the flop. It's not what Tommy wants to see. He's going to need a king and a king fast if he wants to knock Chase out. And Chase is not going to want to see a king, obviously. River is a 5. Oh. Chase getting lucky on the flop, getting the 8. Chase now might be our chip leader. Tommy finding himself not where he wants to be, perhaps falling down the hill a little bit. Yeah, there it is. Chase, 400K, 40% of the chips. Steve in the back, 8 big blinds left. Tommy back down to 3rd. Josh has just been hovering in that 2 position, playing really good, smart poker. As I said, Josh is a very, very experienced and seasoned veteran in poker. And that's not just the Dakota Poker Tour or the FPN League. He's won all sorts of games. And he's proving that here today by staying in second, staying out of really big hands, winning the ones, going all in at the right time. We are going to have another dealer switch back over to Kramer. And this dealer switch is brought to you by Randy's Diner. Randy's Diner, thank you so much for your sponsorship. There are now 2 locations for Randy's Diner. I cannot think of the second one off the top of my head, but the first one, the original, on University. I think the second one's off Cheyenne, if my memory serves me correct. But old-fashioned milkshakes, homemade breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's all very, very good. Go check out Randy's Diner. Also want to thank another one of our sponsors, Posh Hair and Spa. Thank you very much. Here's a nice little look at the bar. Yesterday was extremely crowded, being our Saturday evening. Experienced multiple party buses coming through. Steve, we see him going all in for $138,000. So, if I was Tommy, depending on what's underneath there, obviously we can't see, but I kind of need to pump the brakes. Nothing's really that hurt if you just fold. Just needs to kind of put a tourniquet on that bleeding. But wow, Chase sitting in last place what seemed like forever, catching a bit of luck against Tommy's pocket kings. Catches an 8 to make his pocket 8s a trips 8. Finding himself the chip leader. Let's see if Chase can do what Steve and Tommy have failed to do thus far, and that's hold on and maintain a lead. So far, Steve has been the chip leader for the longest time. But all that matters is who's the chip leader when all the cards are dealt out, and it's the last 2 players. Who is the last one standing? That's all that matters. Next player to go out, 4 remaining, wins. We're in the 4-digit club, $1,030. Chase folds, Steve folds. In the small blind, which means Tommy will win. Just the small blind. He'll take his big blind in the ante back. Those great chips are worth 1,000, as you see. Most of Josh's stack is the thousands. I believe those will be in 20,000 stacks. Blues are worth 5. Yellows are the 25K. Chase folds. Steve announces all in. Tommy with the decision folds. Look at Josh. He's going to fold. So perhaps an all in that Steve wasn't hoping would be called down. And it wasn't. So was just in the big blind, I think. Nope, he was the dealer, so he just wants to steal the blinds and antes there, try to finance the next orbit around the table. There you see Steve still maintaining that aggression frequency. It's both a blessing and a curse for him. But still has chips in front of him, and as we've been saying all day today, earlier today, yesterday, as long as you have chips in front of you, still have a chance to win. Tommy raises to 60,000. Fold, fold, fold. Tommy will rake in that pot. Tommy will be first to act, looking down at Jack 9 offsuit. He's going to fold that over to Josh. Josh, couple suited connectors, not good enough. Chase folds, and Steve, wow, waking up with pocket queens. I've seen Steve hit a lot of pocket pairs, high pocket pairs today. Fortunately for the other three players, they had absolute garbage, which was a very easy fold. So although it may look great in your hand, you think maybe this is the hand that I get to chunk someone or knock them out of this tournament or double up. But instead you just win the blinds and antes. But a win's a win, and as long as you're pulling chips towards you, never be upset about that. Josh folds, Chase calls 20,000. Steve in the small blind, 10,000 to call. Steve will call. Tommy with the option. Tommy's going to raise it up. So raises to 70,000. Chase can't call that. Steve can't call that. Tommy with the aggression. Great time. Great timing. As Chase and Steve get out of the way of Tommy's aggressive betting there. So Steve is now on the button. Tommy and Josh paying their dues in the blinds. Chase announces all in. Steve folds. Tommy folds. Josh folds. Now, we're not quite at the point where it's all in or nothing. I mean, you can still bet, and especially since Chase has a pretty sizable chip stack. It's not quite an all-in or nothing type of moment quite yet. Yeah, see, Chase, chip leader, going all in. I mean, typically, I don't know if I'd want to risk my doubling someone up from the get-go. Maybe. But even with ace-king, go all in. Someone has, who knows, something better. Can't really get much better than that, but it's, who knows. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And Chase knows exactly what he wants to do, and you know what? He won chips. That's all that matters. Maybe in terms of being efficient and getting the most bang for your buck, maybe a better way, especially knowing we're four-handed, where the range of hands does open up a little bit as to what you would normally play if it was a 6, 7, 8, 9-handed game. So here's Tommy. 20K to call. It looks like he is sizing up a bit more. It looks to be 60,000. Josh. Ace 6. 60,000 to call. It'd be about a third of his stack if he was going to do that, just under. Steve gonna fold. And Tommy being aggressive. Steals the blinds and antes. Tommy's got to be getting close to overtaking Chase in the chip count again. So Tommy wanting to maintain at least a top 2 chip stack right now. Doing very well at that. He is in the big blind now. The blinds are at 10-20. Josh looking down at ace 4 suited. He does go all in. Chase folds over to Steve. He would have to go all in to call. He's going to fold. Tommy. I don't think he's looked at his cards yet. Maybe he has. He just hasn't put them in the reader. So it'll be pretty interesting. Okay, there we go. Oh, it looks like he is calling. No, he's not. He's going to fold. Wow. Tommy, really strong hand, four-handed. But if he were to I mean, he calls that, loses. He's now down to 100K and instantly the short stack at the table. But still, man, that's a premium hand, four-handed. No harm, no foul. Maybe, but not capitalizing on those big opportunities when they happen to try to knock someone out, or at least, yeah, that would have been knocking Josh out, and a very formidable opponent at that. And then that would also allow him to take a really commanding lead on the field here. So Tommy winning another one, and ace 4 shows it to the field.
Kind of strengthens.
Four-handed, yeah, any easy.
Steve, pocket fives, goes all in. Tommy folds. Let's see if someone else has a hand worthy enough to call.
I believe it's 128.
Chase may be the only possible person to call. Do have to be fairly quiet when we're in the middle of a hand, and I'm going to speak specifically about the hand, as There is a balcony separating me from the final table, but don't want to risk the integrity of the game and having someone hear. So there's Chase. He's not ready to gamble the queen jack, which is, you know, four-handed, pretty dang strong. But Steve has an ace or a king in his hand, and he's behind. He's going to be behind pre-flop.
I'm all in.
Josh all in with ace 2. Steve all in right behind him. Tommy, get out of the way, Tommy. Get out of the freaking way. All right, so we have 2 all-ins. Steve will have Josh covered. Should Josh win, but not by much. So here we are, Steve's king-queen versus Josh's ace-2. Needs to avoid a king or a queen. At minimum, there's a queen on the top with a 2 and a 3. Now a 2 or an ace. I think it's a 2 and an ace only. And the end is a 9. So Steve will win that pot. We are going to make sure all is well in the world, but it does appear that Josh will be eliminated as per the graphics on the screen. Those graphics have been known to not be so accurate. So we'll get the official count from Kramer the dealer. And looking like, yeah, Josh is officially done. So great tournament to Josh. Steve taking him out. That is public enemy number 1, I guess. Josh getting knocked out there. Huge win for the table. Taking him out. So Josh will go home with $1,030 in 4th place. We now have our final 3: Tommy Hill, Chase Lardy, Steve Madsen. Blinds are at 10-20 with a big blind ante of 20K. So Steve taking the lead, but wow, it is a even chip game. Can't really say ball game. So next person to go home will have $1,420. First place prize, $2,765. Be a nice win and sole possession of first place on the Dakota Poker Tour Season XI point race. Thinking of race, looking at Chase, and I end up saying Chase. Steve looking down at 8-7 offsuit. He's going to fold. Tommy, queen 9. He's got a stack of blues in his hand. Chase doesn't want anything to do with it, so yeah. Unless you announce how much you want to raise, whatever is in your hand that crosses that yellow line making a move, a motion to bet, you have to bet that amount unless prior to you moving your hand forward and across that yellow line, you announce how much you want to bet and or raise. But I'm sure most of you guys know that.
Chase your, make sure you stay with that. Just 10. Chase.
You raise on 2 grand, $50. 1975. You're near the same place, one.
You go on break.
You want to play it out? Or is it, I think play it off a little bit. I don't think so.
I'm fine either way.
You gonna play through the break? Is that what you're talking about?
We're gonna play for a while, yeah. And then I don't know. He wants to play for a while.
We don't do shots.
Oh, really?
Players discussing a chop pot, and that is just not how we do things at the Dakota Poker Tour. There will be a winner.
Yeah, you guys get a break in 10 minutes.
Sounds like we do have a break in 10 minutes. Blind level still at 10, 20, 20. Steve raises to 50,000. Everyone gets out of the way and folds. And fairly even chip stacks. Chase maybe falling a little behind. Yep, there we see Steve and Tommy still in that 300,000 range. Steve in the lead by about 20,000 over Tommy, and Chase falling behind 240,000, but that means absolutely nothing if he starts winning hands, and we'll see what how it all plays out. Tommy folds. Chase will call. Steve will check his option. Flop comes 5, ace, 10. Chase betting 20,000. Steve not going anywhere for that price will call. Turn is a 3. Got a check, check.
At 10.
Turn comes a 2. We're going to check, check. Steve will win that hand with a pair of 10s. And we see Steve calling in the small blind. Tommy will check his option. We'll see a flop here. Queen 10-6. Tommy getting a nice little chunk of that pot with the middle pair. Middle kicker. Tommy will bet the 20,000 and Steve will fold. And if you could get some action on this game, some betting action, you better not be putting your money on the Vikings despite a win today. You better put your money on Steve, because as we all know, there is no safe lead with the Vikings, and they're bound to blow it. So, Steve, keep your head up. You still have a chance. Maybe if Steve is the Seattle Seahawks, then Chase and Tommy have a chance. So once again, we do have a break coming up very shortly, maybe in about 5 to 7 minutes. So probably a much needed break for all three of our players. Certainly us in the control booth. Just to stretch the legs. Tommy first to act. He's going to throw away his cards. Chase also throwing away his cards, so Steve will win blinds and antes.
You can take a break early if you want, but you get one in 4 minutes.
I'm all right. It's okay. It's fine.
It's a break.
So if you're tuning in on Facebook and or YouTube, thank you very much. And if you are just tuning in, you are watching live coverage of the kickoff to the Dakota Poker Tour's Season XI. For those of you that are not familiar with Roman numerals, that is 11. All right, Steve raising to 60,000. Tommy, 40K to call. In the big blind, Tommy announces all in. Huge decision here for Steve. Steve grumbling like a bear out of hibernation. Just thinking if he wants to call this. Chase would be happy to see either one of these guys duke it out. Steve maybe seeing if his one eye can assess the situation better than two. Looks like he will throw away his A7. Just having the one over on that hand pre-flop. You know, he'd definitely like to see maybe an ace-10 or better before he would consider calling that one. We certainly are missing. Oh my gosh, was that deja vu? Nearly 2 pocket eights in a row. We certainly are missing you, Rob Urbach. You should have been here, unless you were here this morning for the TOC, and I just wasn't here yet to witness you. But Robert is being very active in our comment section on Facebook, which is great. Thank you very much, Robert. We do see Cody Slusher is watching. Not sure if he still is, but congratulations, Cody, on Season X Player of the Year points race winner. Congratulations, Cody. Who will be Season 11's points race winner? So our flop here comes 2 queen 4. Chase checks. Steve will bet. Chase will fold. All right, so we'll see one more hand, then we'll go on break. These guys, I think, are on they're somewhere between the 6th and 8th hour of playing today. Steve raising it up to 40,000 over to Tommy. Tommy will call for 20,000 more, and we're going to see a flop here. Flop comes ace 4-4. Oh my God. Both check, and we're certainly going to be seeing a chop pot here. Steve trying to set the trap, but little does he know, once we flip these cards up, we're going to be having a good old belly laugh as to what happened on the screen.
40, 50. We gave you 25.
Check, check, got a 4. And little chop pot here, so no harm, no foul. Crazy hand between these two. But I do believe we're going to chip up the thousands. We're going to take about a 10-minute break. We're going to hopefully see the conclusion of our first kickoff tournament here for the Dakota Poker Tour Season 11. Who will be the first champion? Will it be Tommy Hill? Will it be Chase Lardy or Steve Madsen? We'll be back after this break.
I guess Green Bay still has a shot.
And we are back, Dakota Poker Tour fans. Potentially the conclusion
Unrealistically, they
of the kickoff tournament, Season XI kickoff tournament. Who is going to be our winner? Is it going to be Tommy Hill, Chase Lardy, or Steve Madsen? Let's do a quick recap of the chip counts. Just to update you, Tommy and Steve essentially tied Chase just under half chip stack, but as we know, anything can happen. Chase 5 big blinds left. Blinds are at 15, 30 with a 30,000 big blind ante. Being that we're three-handed and orbit goes really quick. Chase luckily starting off with the dealer. However, next hand he will be ponying up 60K of that 170K stack, and it looks like he is going to go all in. Steve will fold. Got a fold, and Chase will take down, basically finance his blinds and ante, or his big blind and ante for the next hand. So lucky for him, that is not coming out of his original chip stack. It's coming essentially out of Tommy's chip stack, and he'll finance the small blind should he fold this hand through Steve's previous small blind. Steve on the button, first act will fold. Tommy with 2 playable cards. Queen Jack will raise it up to 115,000. Chase will fold, shows a couple of ducks.
15. I did it too, so. Did they really just? Oh, they have a 50-yard.
Oh my gosh, am I seeing that right? We do have an all-in between Steve and Chase. Steve's king queen versus Chase's ace queen. Needs to avoid for Chase to win a king, and right on the top is a king. So Steve now in the lead needs an ace really, and an ace only for Chase to pull ahead. A jack now. Ace or jack, and it's a 10. So looks like Chase is going to go out in 3rd place. Going to bring home $1,420. Not bad for a day at the poker office.
I was just the big blind.
So huge hand for Steve. Catching that king, even though pre-flop he was dominated. So we are now heads up. We have narrowed it down to 2 people. Who's going to be the season kickoff champion? It's going to be Tommy Hill or Steve Madsen. We are going to be getting rid of the big blind ante now, as we are heads up. Steve will call the 15,000. Tommy raises it up to 60,000. Steve did call. We have a flop of 10-8-3. We are going to have a check. The turn is an 8. Tommy first to at. Tommy bets 100,000. Steve reaching for chips. We'll see if he calls. He does. With a pair of 3s, he has got no chance to win this. Let's see if Tommy can take Steve to Paintown for maximum value. Tommy checked. Steve goes all in. He's going to hate what he sees because Tommy has 2 kings.
How much you got?
Wow. Let's see. Does that eliminate Steve, or is that going to leave him with a little bit left? Wow. So Steve, thinking his 3s are good, runs into a couple of cowboys. Tommy pulling in a ton of chips here.
I'm good, thanks. Appreciate it.
But it ain't over until all the chips are in one player's possession. Anything can happen. Tommy with a commanding chip lead, about 800,000, just shy. 15K to call. Looks like he'll raise. Steve will fold. Steve going all in. Tommy certainly going to call. Yep, Tommy does in fact call. So it'll be Queen 8 versus Tommy's Ace 8. Steve's 8s are dead. For Tommy to take this home, needs to avoid a queen on the community cards. There's an ace that is certainly going to secure it up. Folks, Tommy Hill, Dakota Poker Tour Season XI, first champion of the season. Oh, man, Tommy, it has been a wild ride for him. At one point, he was short-stacked at the table, and he just fought and fought and fought. And just like his jersey, Jared Allen, maybe one of the most persistent defensive ends in the NFL, and Tommy being the most persistent person at this table. Pulling away with a big win, sole possession of first place on Season 11 of the Dakota Poker Tour. Steve Madsen, great tournament, taking home $1,975. Tommy Hill, first place prize, $2,765. We are going to take a small break. We're going to get everything in order. We will see you down on the felts with the champion, Tommy Hill himself, just in a few short minutes. We'll be back soon. And we are back with the winner of the kickoff tournament for Dakota Poker Tour's Season XI, Tommy Hill. How does it feel?
It feels good. I'm not gonna lie. Feels good to be sitting here. It's been a while.
Yeah, so when's the last time you won a tournament like this?
I couldn't even tell you. It's been a few years.
Might as well have been the first time, right?
Yeah, I think maybe it was. Feels like it anyway.
Yeah, so throughout this, the final, it's delicious. Oh, I love it. So this whole final table, you started at the bottom, you climbed your way to the top. Walk me through your mental game. How did you stay in it and focus to eventually take the championship?
I was really card dead at first. I don't think I was at the bottom at first. I was sitting pretty good when I first started off, but I was card dead probably for the first hour or two. And was literally down to about 20,000, and it just kind of turned around for me. Started hitting some hands, making decent moves, and hit a 3-hour once there on Steve. Got it all in with the ace when I was at 20,000. Quadrupled up, and it just kind of steamrolled after that, to be quite honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was an excellent tournament for you. So first place, player of the year, points race, Tommy Hill, everyone. Congratulations. We're going to see you all at our next Dakota Poker Tour tournament as we continue on into our Season XI. But for now, Tommy Hill, what are you going to do with all the winnings now?
Disneyland, baby.
Classic response, and we'll see you at Disneyland. Tommy Hill, everyone, thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll see you at the next Dakota Poker Tour tournament as we continue Season 11.